The moon goes into Taurus today, where we get the pressure to get grounded, stabilize some of the recent shakeups and earthquakes. And of course, the moon will pass through the final degrees of Aries as it, well, right before it enters Taurus, forming a square with Pluto, and then later in the day, forming its third quarter moon, so a square to the sun. And so let's talk about how that is bringing a need for stability, stabilization, thinking about how to sustain the changes, some of the things that have been shaken up, and how to sustain the parts of that that we want, and maybe not sustain the parts that we don't want. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Saturday, July 27th. And so the moon will go from Aries into Taurus at 10:22 a.m. and that is Pacific time in the United States. And so you'll have to adjust for your own time zone. 1:22 p.m. On the East Coast of the United States. So that kind of gives you an idea that in the morning, depending, obviously, the exact time will vary, but in the morning we will have that energy of the moon completing its time in Aries, where we need to think about action, movement, finding our courage, taking risks. So there, as the moon moves through the final degrees of Aries, we have that invitation to complete any themes that we've been thinking about, or maybe starting to put in motion, related to the actions we can take to support the things that we want to create. And in the last videos for the last couple of days, I've been talking about how to take tangible action, how to think about action to make it most powerful and effective. And the hint there is that it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be perhaps as big as you might think. So watch those videos from Thursday and Friday to get more of an insight into how to think about action and risk taking and courage. And then, as I mentioned, the moon, of course, shifts into Taurus. And because Pluto is at 0 degrees Aquarius, the moon at 0 degrees Taurus will square that Pluto, bringing in some intensity. Squares are the pressure to evolve, right? So pressure doesn't always sound like a whole lot of fun, right? It can show up as challenge, as conflict, as frustration, as things not working out the way we had hoped. Um, it also can just feel like an uncomfortable place to be. And of course, the bigger purpose of that experience of pressure is to remind us that we are creative beings, that we can shift our perspective, our thinking, we can access a bigger view, we can access a new solution, a new perspective, a new possibility. And that is what Pluto is there to remind us of the possibilities that are out there that we haven't yet experienced. And so Aquarian energy is really about all that exists outside of our comfort zone. And the things that exist outside of our comfort zone are A, uncomfortable, and B, they are relatively infinite in nature. So all the things that we might want, the creative solutions, the possibilities that we want for the future, the things that we're afraid they might happen or afraid they might not happen, as the case may be, we can remember that in that realm of the outside of our comfort zone, there also lies all the things that bring insight, inspiration, epiphany, realization, right? Shift into a higher consciousness, shift into a higher possibility. So those earthquakes and lightning bolts can bring good things just as much as they can bring hard things. So remembering that we have that ability to access solutions that we that haven't even occurred to us yet, right? That we the doorways to possibilities that we haven't experienced or thought of yet. So new solutions, new ways of thinking are out there, and that pressure of the moon squaring Pluto is is pressuring us to access new possibilities, but it's also, because the moon is in Taurus, it's pressuring us to figure out how to sustain and stabilize the some of the changes that we've experienced recently. So some of the shakeups and earthquakes that have been going on, it's like, really, okay, what are the things that are good? What has emerged that is good from those shakeups, and how can you ground that? How can you make it something that you can continue to experience? So Taurus energy is about how we put um, something good into practice, right? So as we plant our seeds, just like Taurus is about the earth and the seasons and growing food. And so when you think about the nurturing and the nourishment that a seed needs, all the good nutrients and water and sunshine and everything that it needs to grow and thrive and be sustained and ultimately blossom into something that we want. So thinking about what are the seeds from recent shakeups that you want to nurture, that you want to feed, that you want to continue and to support, to grow and thrive. And so thinking about what that means for you and how you need to implement that in your daily life, or what it looks like for you to ground in ways that will allow you to maintain the change or the possibility that has emerged. So sustaining, maintaining, grounding, and thinking long term, how do we keep this going? So that's part of today's energy, as well as, of course, what do we not want to have continue, and what shakeups might have brought to our awareness something that we don't want to support. And so, um, by supporting the thing you want, you are redirecting your energy away from the thing you don't want. So unfortunately, it's kind of a human truism that when we put a lot of energy into resisting something, we tend to perpetuate that, right? We kind of become comfortable in a way with the experience of resisting or being afraid of something that isn't really good for us, isn't something we want. And so by redirecting our energy in this way, that is putting our energy into growing and sustaining and nourishing and feeding the things we do want, and how can you put positive energy toward those things. So that is really the vibe of the day. And then, as of course, later in the day, we have the exact third quarter moon, which is 3/4 of the way through the moon cycle. And so we are in the moon cycle that began with the Cancer new moon. We are experiencing the unfolding qualities of that Cancer energy, which has to do with, of course, Cancer in the zodiac sign, right? The zodiac sign of Cancer has to do with caring, nurturing, emotions, feelings, support, sort of the intangible ways that we nurture and nourish, the way that a mother does for a child. And of course, it doesn't have to be a mother, right? It's that energy, that quality of mothering, that really anyone can do. So we are integrating, digesting, and processing what it looks like, what it means to care for ourselves, right? Self-care and what we need and how to care for and maintain and nourish and feed ourselves so we can keep doing what we're here to do, as well as how can we think about caring in the world and caring for one another and bringing more caring into the world around us. So there's a challenge today to implement, to ground, to put something into practice, something you can sustain and maintain over time, and thinking about what will support you to grow and thrive so you can put your energy in positive ways into the things that you want to see grow and thrive in your life and in the world around you. Thank you so much for being here. I am Marina Orms, and you can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com. You can learn how to work with me and take advantage of my special offer that I have available right now to receive a recorded reading on how you can best participate in supporting and sustaining freedom and democracy right now at this time. So a special peek at your chart on what is coming up for you personally and how you can participate in the bigger movements in the world to support and sustain democracy and freedom. So check that out. That reading is $97. You can find a link to it in the description for this video and on my website, astrologyheals.com. And thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing and telling your friends and all of your support. I will see you with more astrology for unshakable self-care next time.